Standing in your 50s or 60s feels like holding a compass that is suddenly spinning in a new direction as the old landmarks of career and parenting begin to fade. We often look toward our 70s with a mix of curiosity and quiet apprehension, wondering what those who have already crossed the bridge would tell us if they had a single chance. The wisdom gathered from those a decade ahead reveals that the most common mistakes aren't just about missing investment targets, but about misjudging the speed of time itself. While you are currently focused on the safety of your bank balance, there's a hidden window of opportunity closing faster than you realize. In this video, we're diving into 10 life-altering lessons from 70-year-olds that will challenge your perspective on wealth, health, and what it actually means to be free. By the end of this journey, you won't just have a financial plan, you'll have a psychological blueprint for a second half of life that is defined by joy instead of regret. Chapter 1. The 3 Stages of Life, the Magical Fourth Triangle. Understanding the trajectory of your life requires looking at the delicate balance between time, health, and money, which rarely coexist in perfect harmony. In our youth, we possess abundant energy and time but lack the capital to explore the world, whereas midlife brings financial stability but leaves us starved for a single free hour. The 70-year-olds who look back emphasize that there is a brief, magical overlap in your late 50s and early 60s where all 3 resources finally intersect. This is the period where you still have the physical vitality to hike the Alps or travel extensively, coupled with the financial means to afford the experience. Many people make the mistake of staying in the accumulation phase too long, waiting for a retirement age that may arrive only when their physical mobility begins to decline. Statistics show that functional health starts to decrease significantly after age 75, making this current decade your most critical window for active adventures. You must recognize that the magical fourth triangle is a temporary gift that demands immediate action rather than perpetual planning for a distant, stationary future. Chapter 2. Prioritizing the 3 types of time: career, relationships, and renewal. The most successful 70-year-olds reflect on their middle years as a constant battle for attention between professional demands and the people who truly matter. We are conditioned to treat our career as the primary consumer of our energy, often leaving only the scraps of our schedule for our spouses, children, and long-term friendships. However, the often overlooked pillar of a fulfilling life is renewal time, which consists of those solitary activities that recharge your internal battery and spark genuine creativity. Research in the field of longevity suggests that individuals who actively prioritize hobbies and personal downtime in their 50s transition into retirement with far lower levels of depression and anxiety. Without a dedicated practice of renewal, you risk entering your later years with a bank account full of money, but a spirit that is completely burnt out and hollow. It is vital to view your schedule not as a single block of work, but as a pie chart where relationships and self-care must hold non-negotiable territory. By intentionally carving out space for rest now, you prevent your identity from being swallowed whole by a job that will eventually move on without you. Chapter 3. The Power of Saying No in the Second Half of Life. The first 50 years of our lives are often defined by the word yes as we strive to climb the corporate ladder, build families, and secure our social standing. However, 70-year-olds warn that carrying this agreeable mindset into your 60s is a recipe for losing your final years of peak vitality to other people's priorities. True independence begins when you realize that every yes you give to a social obligation or a low-value project is a direct no to your own rest and joy. Learning to decline requests with grace and firmness is a vital psychological skill that protects your limited energy from being drained by the expectations of neighbors or distant relatives. This stage of life demands a shift from being a people pleaser to being a curator of your own experiences and a protector of your personal peace. By saying no to the wrong opportunities is what finally creates the necessary silence to hear your own inner voice and discover what you truly want for your future. By setting these boundaries now, you ensure that your retirement is a reflection of your own soul rather than a continuation of a life lived by committee. Chapter 4: Why Time is Infinitely More Valuable Than Money. One of the most profound realizations of those in their 70s is that while money is a renewable resource, time is an absolute and diminishing asset. In our 50s, we often obsess over adding a few extra percentage points to our portfolios, yet we ignore the rapid depletion of our active, healthy years. The mathematical reality is that your wealth might continue to grow through compound interest, but no amount of capital can purchase back a single missed sunset or a lost year of vitality. Those who have crossed the threshold into their senior years frequently regret the time they traded for a surplus of money they eventually found they didn't even need. Shifting your mindset to view time as your primary currency allows you to make more courageous decisions about when to stop working and start living. Real financial freedom isn't about hitting a specific net worth. It's about reaching the point where you stop sacrificing your hours for dollars. When you value your days more than your dividends, you finally gain the perspective required to reclaim your life before it passes you by. Chapter 5: How to Slow Down Time Through Health Habits. The biological secret shared by vibrant 70-year-olds is that you can effectively expand your lifespan by investing in health spans during your 50s. Research consistently shows that consistent strength training and cardiovascular habits in midlife can delay the onset of physical frailty by over a decade. While we cannot stop the chronological clock, we can prevent the slow-go years from arriving prematurely by maintaining our muscle mass and metabolic flexibility right now. Those who prioritize their physical health report that time feels more abundant because they possess the energy to engage deeply with their environment rather than observing from the sidelines. Failing to maintain your body in your 50s often leads to a retirement spent navigating medical appointments instead of exploring new horizons with your loved ones. By treating your fitness as a high-yield investment, you ensure that your future self has the physical capability to actually spend the wealth you have worked so hard to save. Chapter 6: Buying Back Your Time: Outsourcing Tasks You Hate. A transformative financial strategy often embraced by the happiest seniors is the concept of time buying, where capital is used to eliminate chores that drain your spirit. Instead of viewing outsourcing as a luxury, 70-year-olds suggest seeing it as a way to reclaim thousands of hours for meaningful hobbies and family connections. Whether it is hiring a professional for home maintenance or using a service for tedious administrative tasks, the goal is to swap money for a higher quality of daily life. This shift in perspective prevents you from falling into the do-it-yourself trap that consumes your weekends and leaves you too exhausted to enjoy your newfound freedom. Successful retirees recognize that their hourly value is immeasurable in their later years, making it illogical to spend that time on activities they genuinely dislike. When you stop hoarding every dollar and start spending strategically to protect your peace, you unlock a level of autonomy that no bank balance can provide. Chapter 7: Avoiding the Status Game and Expensive Ego Purchases. The most common financial regret heard from those in their 70s involves the thousands of dollars wasted on status symbols intended to impress people they didn't even like. In our 50s, the pressure to signal success through luxury vehicles or larger homes can be overwhelming, yet these assets often become anchors rather than sources of joy. Experienced retirees point out that the excitement of a high-end purchase usually evaporates within weeks, leaving behind only the maintenance costs and the weight of unnecessary clutter. True status in the second half of life is found in the freedom to do what you want when you want, without needing the validation of an expensive logo. Choosing to rent the experience for a short period is a much wiser move than committing your hard-earned capital to a depreciating asset that serves your ego. By rejecting the social treadmill, you preserve your resources for the experiences and relationships that actually provide a lasting sense of fulfillment and security. Chapter 10. The Reality of Retirement Expenses, the Initial Spending Spike. Contrary to the traditional advice that expenses naturally drop after retirement, many 70-year-olds report a significant spending spike in the first few years of freedom. This phenomenon occurs because the go-go years are filled with a pent-up demand for travel, new hobbies, and home renovations that were previously delayed by work. Statistics indicate that many households spend up to 20% more in their early 60s than they did while they were still employed and saving for the future. Failing to account for this initial burst of activity can lead to unnecessary financial stress and a sense of guilt during what should be your most celebratory years. The key is to build a buffer into your plan that allows for this high-energy phase without compromising your long-term sustainability or your peace of mind. By acknowledging that you will likely spend more while you are still physically active, you can plan your withdrawals with confidence rather than fear. Chapter 9. Reconnecting with old friends and deepening relationships. As the professional world fades into the background, the strength of your social circle becomes the primary predictor of your happiness and mental longevity. Many 70-year-olds regret letting deep friendships wither during their busy career years, finding that it is much harder to build a community from scratch later on. Making the effort to reach out to old colleagues or childhood friends in your 50s creates a safety net of shared history and mutual support for the decades ahead. Studies on the blue zones show that social connectivity is just as vital for a long life as a healthy diet or regular exercise routines. Prioritizing family bonds and investing time in new, interest-based groups ensures that you don't enter retirement facing the silent epidemic of senior isolation. A rich life is not measured by the size of your portfolio, but by the number of people who would show up for you during both celebrations and challenges. Chapter 10. Retiring to a purpose, not just running from a job. The most critical psychological shift for anyone in their 50s is moving from the desire to escape a stressful career towards the pursuit of a new meaningful mission. Many people retire from a job only to find themselves bored and depressed within 6 months because they lacked a structure to replace their professional identity. 70-year-olds who are thriving are those who rediscovered passions from their youth or dedicated their time to a cause that provided a sense of contribution. Your purpose doesn't have to be a second career. It can be as simple as mentoring others, mastering a craft, or becoming a cornerstone in your local community. Without a clear why for waking up in the morning, the gift of total freedom can quickly turn into a burden of aimless days and mental stagnation. Designing a life of intentionality ensures that your retirement is not a slow fade-out, but a vibrant and purposeful second act that reflects your truest self. Reflecting on these lessons from the 70-year-olds who have walked this path before you is the first step towards reclaiming your own destiny.
You now hold the insights needed to avoid the common traps of status, isolation, and the perpetual delay of your own happiness. This second half of your life is not a decline, but a rare opportunity to live with the wisdom you've gained and the energy you still possess. Don't let another year slip away in the pursuit of a perfect number, while your most magical window of health and time is currently wide open. It is time to be bold, set your boundaries, and start investing in the experiences that will form the stories you'll tell 10 years from now. If you found these perspectives valuable, please share which lesson resonated most with you in the comments below and subscribe to join our community of freedom seekers.